Okay, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I'm so glad I'm here. I will start apologizing me because speaking 10 minutes in another language than mine, it's quite a challenge. So sometimes I will read for you, okay? So let's go. My name is Ana Carolina. I'm a plastic surgeon from Brazil. I'm nothing to disclose. So I'm here to discuss about arm lipedema, and I would like to start highlighting the prevalence of lipedema patients who exhibited the condition in their arms, which is around 80% according to the research presented by Dr. Hurst in the same event last year. And I sent early a questionnaire previously to this audience, and I had that 70% of the lipedema patients who answered my questionnaire have the condition in their arms, but only 6% have it only in arms. Well, what about me? Throughout my professional career, I have been dedicated years to the aesthetic treatment of the arms. I developed and refined techniques, published papers and works and chapters all about arms. And the arms became bigger and bigger. And about 6 years ago, I encountered the term lipedema, a pathology then unknown to me. And as I delved deeper and became aware of its implications, I realized that many of my patients operated on over the past 20 years had undiagnosed lipedema. Upon reviewing these patients, I found that my well-established technique could be indeed applied to lipedema patients, yielding excellent results, durability, and symptoms reductions. In 2019, I became a member of the ABRALI, that's the Brazilian Society of Lipedema. Well, in studying lipedema, I noticed a lack of specific publications on arm lipedema and understood the importance of compiling all my data and experience to share and contribute to the scientific community. For this reason, I initially felt the need to classify my patients. Currently, the classification that frames arm lipedema as type 4 is available and known to all. However, I observed a pattern of subtypes in my patients. For each, there was not established classification until now. I found this image at the internet, which I credit the source, but I did not find any scientific article where it has been described. But this image served as basis for creating a more detailed, yet simple and useful classification, which I had the honor of presenting last year in the Lipedema World Congress in Potsdam, Germany. This classification, once applied, also provides a more precise treatment suggestion for each subtype, and it includes stagings, allowing for comparative analysis between pre- and post-operative stages, different treatments, and to follow the disease progression. Well, my classification subdivides the arm lipedema into 4 types, a bit different to that internet image. Here we have the upper arm, the whole arm, and then this third one that they shows forearm. I don't know of my colleagues, but I've never encountered a patient with lipedema in forearms that spare the arm, except for patients who, for any reason, the forearm was not treated surgically. That creates this disproportion. Therefore, I suggest renaming this third type in a iatrogenic type. The fourth type is for patients who, in addition of lipedema, also present skin laxity, as this direct impacts in the choice of indication of the most appropriate treatment. So let's detail each type here. The first one is the So the first one, we have the upper arm subtype. I also observed that all patients with arm lipedema also have fat accumulation in the dorsal and axillary regions. I heard many of you speaking of that. I noted that for each location and fat distribution, different volumes could be observed, which leads to the distinguishing stages. The treatment indication that I added to each type is based in my practice. For this subtype, cases in stage 1, 2, and 3 would be treated with liposuction in the first surgical stage, followed by a subsequent reevaluation, and if it needs, the removal of the skin. The second one, it's the whole arm type. We see involvement of the dorsal and axillary regions, as well as the arm and forearm. But interestingly, I did not consider it as an evolution of the upper arm subtype because we also find early to advanced stages with this subtype, but the pattern of distribution remains consistent across stage 1, 2, and 3. Here, an example of a case that in the suggested treatment, a patient that we can classify at whole arm subtype in stage 3. It was treated in 2 stages. The first one, I did the liposuction, and the second one, I took the skin with the traditional technique. The third type that we have, that I call the iatrogenic type, because it demonstrated here a patient who does not have lipedema but underwent a brachioplasty, resulting in a disproportional that resembles a lipedema patient that should be in the forearm. I would like to suggest extend this idea of this specific subtype to the traditional use classification. Consider that the visual aspect is still the disproportion still is an important point of diagnosed lipedema. However, this can cause confusion when diagnosing obese patients, non-lipedema carriers previously subject to aesthetics liposuction procedure, as they may end up with a lipedema-like body pattern. Here is a case that provided by a colleague that an obese patient who was submitted to a liposuction. In the end, she looks like a lipedema patient, hence the nomenclature iatrogenic type. The fourth type, another case. The fourth type that I call the saggy skin type. It's for the patients who present concurrent skin laxity. However, a control method was necessary to evaluate laxity. So I described this methodology that I use systematically and simply, drawing a line that goes from the elbow to the axillary fold. And we measure the centimeters, how much the skin arch deviates from the line. And for this measurement, we grade in stage 1 up to 2.5 centimeters, stage 2 from 2.5 to 5 centimeters, and stage 3 more than 5 centimeters. This method allows us to evaluate improvement by comparing pre- and post-surgical measurements, or even to assess the patient's progression of the course of the disease. Here's a patient who was treated that we can put her in a sag skin subtype, stage 2. She was treated only with liposuction without skin removal. When we apply this measurement, we can see the regression for the stage 2 to stage 1 due to the significant skin retraction that these 360 liposuction techniques provide. Another example, a sag skin type stage 3, which was treated with axillary brachioplasty, also showing the regression from stage 3 to stage 1. Another patient, sag skin subtype stage 1, treated only with 360 liposuction without skin removal, demonstrating the power of skin retraction and improvement of the final result. This patient, she's an example of sag skin subtype, stage 3. She's still on treatment in the early postoperative period, where I performed an extensive 360 liposuction, and who is already showing surprising results of skin retraction. This patient will be reevaluated in the 3 months, the final 3 months, for the need of skin removal. This is the classification. It's very complete, it's visual, it's easy to apply, and I really hope it contributes to the systematization when we talk about arm lipedema, so that we can increasingly provide greater accuracy in our scientific work. Thank you.